UFC 323. We got Marab versus Jan, the rematch number two. I mean, this is the last pay per view of the year, the last pay per view on ESPN, the end of an era.
Yeah, bro.
What do you think about this, man? Marab versus Jan. You got Marab 21-4, Jan 19-5, around the same age, 34 to 32. What are we thinking?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I just look at the first fight when Marab, took Peter Yan down, so many times, but he attempted what 49 takedowns or something like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah. He attempted 50 takedowns.
yeah,
Ridiculous.
and it's insanity, and he wasn't gassed. He wasn't tired, and you don't see that at all
The
ever,
machine.
and so he uh he just impresses me every time he's out there, and like we talked about, I find him getting a finish in this fight. Peter's good, he's tough, but Rob's kind of ran through the division already. There's not really much for him to fight right now, and that's why they gave him a guy like Peter Yan. There's the talent is, I mean, he's just levels above everybody in the division, truthfully, and so I think he's gonna have his way. He's gonna take him down, and then he's gonna piece him up on the feet too. I mean, it showed against Corey Sandhagen. One of the slickest strikers. He's like people were talking about when Sean O'Malley was champ to have Corey Sandhagen to have a crazy striking matchup. Marab dropped him.
Hmm.
Marab almost finished him, and that's a long striker, somebody who can keep you at distance. And Marab was able to get in there, and with a guy like Peter that likes to box and has good boxing, I feel like that could be danger for him. That Marab's just gonna get in there and find his shot and get a finish, and no matter what, if it's knocking him down and TKOing him, or if it's knocking him down and submitting him, I think Marab's just gonna put the pace on him and find a finish.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, and like we heard at the press conference and we saw the last fight, we hear the excuses. Piriani saying that he only had one arm, but I mean, in my opinion, if you got one arm or four arms, like you were taken down 11 times on 50 attempts, and that's what it is. And you had to defend 40 takedowns, and that's kind of what wears you out. And Marab's a machine. He doesn't wear out. He only ups the gas on you, and he does this to everybody. We saw him take Corey Sandhagen down last fight 20 times and set the record. And I mean, he's just so much better too from the last time that he fought Jan. And I think Jan will have his moments, but Marab's an animal, and we're going 5 rounds. Last pay per view on ESPN before the new era. I believe Marab when he says, "Don't be surprised if I knock this guy out." I really think he can finish Jan, especially if Jan gets too worried about the takedowns and then boom comes that right hand up top. We've seen Marab almost finished by Marlon Moraes, and I mean he's right back KOing you. I like Marab by TKO. I think Jan really pissed Marab off too with the excuses, and he's gonna come and show why he's the greatest. He's already the goat in my opinion at 135, and I believe he'll tie Silva's win streak at 16 with this one being right next
Yep.
to Islam. So I am Marab by TKO.
Yeah, no, no, I like that pick for sure. I mean, that's the first, the title fight to finish off the card. The next one, the flyweights, Alexandre Pantoja, 30-5 versus Joshua Van, 15-2. An upcoming prospect versus a vet. Van's been talking about how it's the new age's time. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, man, Pantoja, he's just been running through everybody. I mean, same thing with Marab. Like they're both just defense, defense, defense. There's about over a 10-year age gap right here too. And I mean, on the feet, I feel like Van has the cardio, and we've kind of seen Pantoja slow down a little bit towards the end, but it's kind of like, can Van stay off of his back? Because Pantoja, we know he's leaps above in grappling, and Van, he when he lands, he's got power. Like he dropped Roy Ball, he dropped Bruno Silva 3 times before KOing him. His takedown defense is 81%, which is extremely good. Landing almost 10 strikes per minute. I mean, it was a wrestler, right? Teixeira, he was an elite wrestler. I mean, he went 4 for 21 on takedowns, and that's kind of when I really saw the potential in Van. So I know a lot of people are going with Pantoja on this one, but I'm pulling for the upset. I got Joshua Van by decision, but I'm going money line just in case. Somehow he can put Pantoja out. So I got plus 200 Joshua Van.
No, yeah, dude, I like this fight a lot. I mean, another grappler or striker, and I guess this will really show how much Joshua Van has leveled up in his career so far. You know, he's not that deep into his run yet. You know, he's young, he's up and coming, and this will really show, where he's at for sure with the grappling on side of things. Because if he can stay off his back, I can find him finding the shot, to put Pantoja away. I mean, his boxing is crisp. He lands good knees, and
Hmm.
he's smart. You know, he uses the cage to his advantage. You know, he's been pressured against the cage a lot, but he knows how to cut angles and mix up his striking to get his back off. So really, I guess it's truthfully how well he can stay off the cage and off the ground for sure. Because I mean, Pantoja is a monster when he gets you to the ground. So I think he's gotta last the first two if he is getting taken down. And then, like you said, we've seen Pantoja gas out a little bit in those championship rounds. So if he's able to survive and outlast that first, little bit of the fight, if he is getting taken down, I think Van can put it on him and get a finish. But if it doesn't make it out of those first three rounds, I'm going Pantoja by sub.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And then we got the other flyweights. We got Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Terra. Brandon Moreno, record 23-8-2, but that doesn't really show much for him. I mean, he's beating the best in the world. Then we got Tatsuya Tero, 17-1. Both these guys still in their prime. I mean, Moreno's only 31 years old, man. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, man, Brandon's my ride or die. I said that the last time we were on the podcast talking about him, dude. He's just, I mean, he brings that real Mexican style. You know, he's gonna be in your face the whole time. He's gonna get knocked down. He's gonna knock you down. You know, he's in there for a dogfight.
Right.
So it's a fight I'm excited for. And Tatsuro Taira, bro, he's not somebody to joke around with. You know, he's on a tear, runs into a tough Brandon Royval, loses, then he's back on a win streak. You know, he's tough, but everybody's talking about his grappling going into this fight. But we've seen Brandon Moreno in there with Davison Figueiredo. We saw him
Hmm.
in there with Pantoja. I mean, and he's holding his own on the ground. You know, even if he is getting taken down, he's not getting subbed. He's subbed Davison Figueiredo. So, I mean, it's I don't know. It's weird to put this fight into how I feel it's gonna go. I think I'm gonna take Brandon Moreno as my underdog in this one. I think last I looked like plus 115, 140, something like that. But man, I think he's just a dog. He's been in here with some of the best, and I mean, I think he's gave Pantoja his closest fight so far. When Pantoja won the title, it was a close fight. Many people saw it going both ways, and so I just think Brandon Moreno is going to be able to put his well roundedness on Tatsur Taira and kind of confuse Taira because a lot of people know Brandon Moreno for his striking, but I also believe he has a good ground game.
Definitely. Yeah, man. And I mean, Tyra close decision too, split decision with Brandon Royval, and we all know how good Royval is. He's just so good at backpacking you and controlling you. And Moreno in the feet at 125, and just in general, honestly, is one of the best boxers to ever do it. But he can get taken down, and when he's down, I don't know if Moreno's going to be getting up. And he looked really good his past two fights, and then before that, lost to Roval by split decision. Before that, he lost to Pantoja by split decision. And the Royval fight also, no excuses, but last minute replacement switched it up. Like I said, man, he's still 31. We love Moreno over here. 3 round fight. This one's hard for me to bet. I'm leaning towards Moreno, but ultimately, I like Tyra to get over 2.5 takedowns. I think Moreno will get up, but I think that's going to be Tyra's whole goal here, just to try to take Moreno down and control him on the ground. So it's kind of up to Moreno. If Moreno, he's got that dog in him, and if he gets up, I mean, I think he could probably get the decision win. But I got Moreno winning it, but I got Tatsuro getting over 2.5 takedowns, so 3 takedowns.
No, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Man, well, that brings us to a Olympic gold medalist in the bantamweight division, Henry Cejudo. 16-5, saying this is his last fight. He said that last time, had the eye poke with Song Yadong, and it just he didn't want to end out on his career like that. Now he's fighting Peyton Talbot, 10-1. I mean, prospect versus vet. How do you feel about this
Hmm.
one?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what this card is. It's prospect versus vets, the new versus the old. Like I said,
Yeah,
Henry Cejudo, 38 years old, man. He's getting up there. I mean, he hasn't won a fight in 5 years, and I feel like a lot of people are like going back on Talbot's fight against Barcelos, but his last fight he looked really good. Talbot has a 76 takedown defense, and even though Henry's an Olympic gold medalist, like he hasn't really landed takedowns. I mean, yeah, against Aljo, but other than that, he's also just on his way out. He's far from his prime right now. 3 fight losing streak since he came out of retirement. And I mean, if we're being honest, Song was piecing him up on the feet last fight.
mm-hmm.
And he was gonna retire last fight, but he didn't want to go out in the eye poke, so they made this fight, gave Talbot a chance. He bounced back with that win over Lima, and I'm pretty high on Lima. He's a good prospect, so I feel like that really gave him his confidence back. He's made to be a star. That's why he's getting this opportunity. And Henry's never really been KO'd. I mean, he's got that big head. Besides the DJ knee to the body, and that's exactly how I see this one going. I see Talbot working the body and ending Henry with a body shot, whether it's a knee, right hook. We're gonna see the front kicks to the body. I think he's gonna work them, get a late finish maybe in round 3 to the body, and like I say, Henry just wants to retire and be done. And if you're in that mindset, I can't pick you to win. And
Yeah.
he hasn't won in 5 years. Peyton Talbot's on the come up, 27 years old, entering his prime. I see Talbot with the body shot, ultimately by KO, but most likely a body shot.
No, definitely. I have to agree with you on this one. I mean, Henry hasn't looked good since. I mean, he had a title before retiring.
Yeah.
He's not the Henry that was the up and comer, the new guy on the block. So I think Peyton Talbot's just gonna have his way. He's gonna defend the takedowns if any come his way, and he's just gonna piece him up on the feet. And so I'm gonna take Talbot on this one. I think he's up and coming. He's young. He's not gonna gas. He's gonna
Mm-hmm.
put it on Henry, and that's gonna be it. That's the name of the game now. Is you gotta be done when you're done. And Henry decided to come back, and now he's 0-3 since. So
Yeah,
your body knows when you should be done.
like he was gonna retire on top. I mean, he had beat the 3 best fighters, and yeah, but that's that. That's all she
Yeah,
wrote.
man. Yep,
But
Peyton
yeah, man, then we
Talbot.
got then we got again out with the old in with the new. We got the vet versus the new guy, Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Jan 29-11-1. Bogdan 18-3. He's got 15 KOs. What are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty high on Bogdan Guskov, man. He's a monster. I was looking at his tapology, and he has no decision wins. He's got 83% finishes of KOs and 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 17% submission wins. I mean, this guy's just. I mean, he's scary. He's young, up and coming. He's hungry. I mean, he put Nikita Krylov out first round. Subs Billy Elikana. He's supposed to fight Johnny Walker, back in January of this year. And TKO's Ryan Spann. I mean, this dude, I mean, he's scary, man, and a lot of these guys aren't names, you hear every day. There are a lot of younger guys too, up and coming. But man, when you have power like that, it's kind of scary. And what we've seen from Jan Blachowicz since, losing the title hasn't been the Jan Blachowicz that was on his rise to the title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I like this fight a lot just because they're two, kind of bigger guys. They're both powerful. Talk about the Polish power from Jan Blachowicz. But I think I'm going to take the over 1.5 in this fight. I don't feel like Bogdan's going to find a finish as early against a guy like Jan Blachowicz, who can take the power from guys. I mean, he's been in there with Alex Pereira. I mean, all these guys, and I just feel like over 1.5 uh my to me my safe bet here. Just you know with how Bogdan is. And I don't know if, Bogdan's going to come out here and try to find a finish right away. I wonder, what his game plan is going into this fight. But who knows? I think I like the over 1.5. And honestly, I couldn't pick a winner after the 1.5. But if it happens early, I think Bogdan's going to find a TKO or a KO.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And Jan Blachowicz, he's 42 now, and he says he likes fighting in December so he can buy Christmas presents. 42, he's got the knee pads on. I mean, pretty boring
Mm,
fight with Carlos Oberg last fight, but then before that, he had a split decision with Alex Pereira, Politan, but that was over 2 years ago now, and I don't know if it's been injuries or what, but he just hasn't been as active as you'd want. And I mean, in fact, he's the age Glover was whenever Glover beat him for the belt a few years ago. So at the same time, though, the power's the last thing to go, and that Polish power, that's a real thing. And
mm-hmm.
Bogdan, he had a great KO versus Nikita Krylov, but for being honest, Dominic Reyes literally he KO'd him like 3 months before that, and when you get KO'd that bad, you can't come back too early, and he
Mm-hmm.
got flatlined and came back way too early. I think Jan is going to be the smarter fighter. He's the vet. He's not like Bogdan, who's just a Terminator charging forward and swinging. His shins are made of iron. I mean, he'll leg kick you and then go upstairs, make you think about the takedown.
Yeah.
Also, I think his grappling's really underrated in my opinion, and I, I think Jan can get back in the win column with this one. So I think I'm riding with Jan by decision, but it really depends if we're gonna see. Like I say, he's 42 now, so we're gonna see if the time away, if the age, everything, and Bogdan, he's got real power to put your lights out. 15 KOs of his 18 wins. So really, just we're gonna see who makes the mistakes here, and if Jan can play it smart. Is Jan gonna shoot for the takedown?
Yeah. Yep. No, definitely. Well, it brings us up to lightweights. Grant Dawson, 23-2. Manuel Torres, 16-3. Man, I think this one's gonna be fireworks. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, you got the grappler Grant Dawson versus Loco Torres. He's loco, man, and I mean, Manuel, he wants to stand and bang with you. He wants to go to war. This is what he lives for. And Dawson, total opposite. He's a heavy grappler, wants to take you down, wear on you. And I mean, his only two losses are by KO. And one was before the UFC, and then one to, I guess we'll call him King Green now. But
Yeah.
King Green, he called him in 30 seconds. And other than that, Grant Dawson, he's really good at what he does. And like if Torres, he steps a takedown, Dawson, he's going to be right back on him for another one. But we know Grant Dawson's game plan, and I feel like Torres, he can fake the knees, fake the uppercuts. He's got a chin on him. And I mean, this is all going to come down to can Dawson take him down, get his back, or can Torres stay loco and find Dawson's chin? Which I mean, man, Torres, he hasn't been out of the first round since 2018, so
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I think Torres can do this. I think he can catch Dawson on the feet, or Dawson shooting for a takedown and catch him shooting for the takedown. We know Dawson's strategy, so we just got to execute ours. But honestly, I feel like Torres and Terrence McKinney. We'll talk about him next, but that would feed families. Both these guys just in and out of there round one.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
ultimately, yeah, this is actually my take the under, and I'm taking Manuel Torres as an underdog, and I'm taking the under rounds. That this does not go the distance.
No, yeah. I think this fight's. I mean, it's another striker versus grappler, and I mean, I agree with you. I think it's gonna come down to if Grant Dawson can take him down. Truthfully, Manuel Torres will find your chin. He's gonna put the pressure on you. He's gonna throw combinations, from the get go. A lot of guys find their range. He's local, bro. He's coming at you, and he's gonna
Yeah,
throw whatever he wants. He doesn't care. He's not the jab you 400 times before he finds the shot. He's just gonna throw, and that's what I
facts.
like about him. He's kind of relentless. He doesn't care who you are. He's gonna walk you down. Like you said, he hasn't been out of the first round since 2018, and I think he could find Grant Dawson's chin. That's like you said, King Green found his chin in 30 seconds, and that's all she wrote for that fight. And I feel like Manuel Torres can do the same thing. So I think I agree with you on that. I think Manuel Torres, if it's going to be the first round, or if he's just going to pull out a decision after kind of putting it on him in the first. But yeah, man, I mean, I think it's going to be a good fight. And I mean, that brings us to the next fight. Like you were saying, Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. McKinney 14, wait, what is he, 17-7, I believe.
Yeah.
And Chris Duncan's 14-2. Man, Chris Duncan's been on a tear, He loses to Manuel Torres,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
That
and
elbow.
then yep, the elbow, then gets rear naked choked. And then Balaji, he goes on a 3-fight winning streak, He beats Okai, Vucinic, and then Mateus Rebecki, they're all tough, I mean, Balaji was, I believe, 9-1 after that fight. And I mean, it's just he's fought some guys who are tough, and Terrence McKinney gets caught. We know he gets caught, and
Hmm.
it's I think, to me, with this fight, it's gonna come down to if Terrence McKinney finds a shot or if Duncan finds a shot, and that's how Terrence McKinney fights are. He's come to finish you or get finished. That's truthfully how I see his fights, And man, I just there it's to me it's so evenly matched up, but I have it the under rounds. I don't think it's going over 1.5 rounds, and that's what I'm gonna stick with. I honestly couldn't pick a winner on this one because Terrence McKinney
Yeah.
comes to find your head, and so does Chris Duncan. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I mean Chris Duncan, he's only improving. He's got a great chin, and we saw that war with Rebexy. Vucinic was honestly, he was looking like a rising star, and Duncan shut that down.
Mhm.
And this is basically,
Yeah,
like, do you think McKinney's gonna finish this fight, or do you, like in the first round, do you think that he can land first and Duncan can't take it? Even though he is a good wrestler when he wants to be, like we saw his fight, like you said, versus Borishev, took him down, subbed him in under a minute. But Borishev, that's not his game. Like, and
yeah,
I don't think that he could do that to Chris Duncan, who's defended takedowns from Gamrod and standing with Dustin Poirier at American Top Team. In fact, like the 4 wins before Borishev, I mean, yeah, they're impressive finishes, but these guys just aren't elite fighters. Eric
yeah,
Gonzalez hasn't fought since 2023. Mike Breeden, call me a casual, but Brendan Murat, Demir Hadzovic, like these aren't elite guys. Like most people don't know who
yeah,
these guys are. And like when you see what he does against what happens when he fights against good competition, like Esteban Ribovic, he gets KO'd in 30 seconds, or a Nazim Sadiakov, or a Ismail Bonfim KO'd him in his debut. And I mean, like, I don't know, man. He's been finished 3 of his last 4 fights. He's kill or be killed. I just think Chris Duncan, he's a better fighter, and not only a better fighter, but he can weather the storm if he needs to, and he has the finishing ability to finish McKinney in round 1 if he needs to. So I mean,
yeah. No,
especially after
definitely.
that Rebexy fight, like I really like Chris Duncan. I've been pretty high on him, but I think I got Chris Duncan by finish.
Yeah, no, I agree. Man, well, that brings us to the flyweights. The women's flyweight division. Macy Barber, 14-2 versus Karine Silva, 19-5. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, Karine Silva, before the UFC, she kind of had a little padded record, the Khabib treatment. She wasn't really fighting the best competition, but I think it really gave her experience. And before her loss to Viviani, she was on a 9-fight win streak, bounced back in August, beating Guillaume Barbosa, who beat her way back in 2019. So there's a lot going on, with Macy Barber, everything that happened to her last fight. I mean, Aaron Blanchfield was in the cage and Barber pulled out seconds, minutes before the fight. I don't know
Yeah,
if she was having seizures or something of that sort. It was some medical going down. But Korean, I mean, her nickname's a killer for a reason. She's a killer, and if you aren't ready to die in that octagon, she will put you out. Her ground game's very nasty. Her striking's good. She can mix in the takedowns. Everyone takes Barbara down, and I mean, these wins they're just not impressive to me. Chukagan, Rebos. I mean, that was a good win, but split decision to Andre Leah. Like I don't know, man. Like she's in, and like that was a back and forth fight too. And at one point she was talking about being the youngest champion. And now she hasn't fought in almost 2 years, and like I said, the Aaron Blanchfield, I feel like Aaron Blanchfield was gonna smoke her in that fight too. So
Me too.
her 14-2, her only two losses are to Grasso and Roxanne, and right now she's on a 6 fight win streak. But I think this might take the under. I got Silva. I think Silva's gonna get this done, and I'm just as confident that she could get it done by KO, submission, or decision.
No, yeah, I
So
agree. I think I think Silva's just levels above. She's young, she's up and coming. Macy Barber hasn't fought in 2 years, and like you said, the last fight when you pull out last second like that, there's something wrong. You don't
mhm,
just do that, especially at this point in your career when you're saying you want to be the youngest champ and this and that, and then you go out and you do that. Like that's your ticket to a title shot if you go out there and win it. In good
mhm,
fashion, and you're able to just pull out when you're in the locker room. And yeah, I mean I agree. If something that bad's going on, pull out. But
right.
at this point in your career, it's got to be go for it all or don't go at all. And I think that was kind of just a turning point in her career where she's not going to make it. Karina Silva, somebody who's hungry, who wants it, who's so well rounded, is just going to put it on Macy Barber now. And man, Karina Silva is just, I mean, she's a monster. She's up and coming, and I think she's like you said. I could see her winning it however she wants. She takes Macy to deep waters, pulls out a decision. If she subs or TKO, whatever it is, Karina Silva is just going to win this fight.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I'm correct on this, but I don't know if it was her or Rose, but I'm pretty sure she pulled out of the Rose fight too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
she pulled out of the Rose fight, and then the Aaron Blanchfield fight happened, and she pulled out of that last minute. So, and also, I mean, the weight cut, I don't know. I think Silva is a lock on this, and it's even better because she's a plus 165, so really good odds.
Yeah. No. Definitely. Man. Well, the next fight, the lightweights, Fares Yam 17-4 versus Nazim Sadikov 11-1. Man, this fight's gonna be fireworks. I already know it.
Yeah,
Sadikov, his last fight was crazy. He's getting rocked. What was it, like a crazy punch combo on him, and then he comes back and knocks the dude out.
yeah, he's a
And
great
then, I mean,
striker.
Fares, yeah, bro, and same with Fares. They're both. I mean, just they're in there to bang, and that's how it is. Yeah, no, Nicholas Moda is who Sadikov fought last, and that guy threw like a 60 punch combo on him, and then gets knocked out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then and Sadikov actually finished Bonfim, Ishmael Bonfim, by doctor
Hmm.
stoppage. And I mean that's a big name. Because that guy's brother just finished Randy Brown.
Yeah, he's got some good
Man,
finishes.
this is a potential fight of the night in my eyes, and man, I think it's gonna be a quick one, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, this is a great fight, and Nazim, great striker. He lost his first fight. Now he's on an 11 fight win streak. He's a finisher, 8 KOs and 2 submissions, and one of them even being Terrence McKinney. He submitted Terrence McKinney. And
Hmm.
the thing is, like, Ziam, he has the height and reach advantage big time. But I I think if Zion doesn't feel comfortable on the feet, he has a much bigger grappling advantage. But Nazim, he's very fast and like he knows that the body kicks are coming. He knows Nazim's crafty on the feet. Like he'll use the reach advantage, throw the knees. But I think I'm riding with Zion on this one. But I think it'll be a really close decision.
Okay, yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, I mean, I could see a decision too. I just think one of them's gonna get caught. I mean, Nazim in that combination, it looked like he was going out, And man, I think they're both just dangerous on the feet, but Ziam also has good grappling and he's long, like you said. So man, I feel like there's gonna be a finish, but decisions also. I mean, it's got to go one or the other. So,
Yeah, it's gonna be a
but
great
man,
fight though.
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, then we got the 185ers. We got Marvin Vittori versus Bruno Ferreira. Marvin Vittori, man, 19-8-1, still 32 years old. And Ferreira, 14-2. Little height difference right here. Vittori's 6 foot, Ferreira 5'8". But I mean, Bruno Ferreira's been putting out guys over 6 foot easy. he's got the power, man. I mean, what do you think about this?
Yeah, man. I mean, we just haven't seen Marvin Vittori, since, I mean, after his brother passing, we both had him against Brendan Allen, and Brendan Allen's your boy, from Louisiana, and we took Marvin Vittori. We had to ride with him, on that one, and I mean, Brendan Allen just tore him apart. Brendan
Yeah,
Allen put it on him, and I don't see Vittori being, who he used to be. You know, he's still young. He's still riding. He could have a comeback, but man, Bruno Ferreira's scary, bro. His power is insane. I mean, he just looks like a fucking pit bull in there. So I don't know how to feel about it, but I think Bruno Ferreira's gonna find a finish in this fight, and I think that's gonna be all she wrote. Vittori's tough. He's been in there with some hammers, but man, Bruno Ferreira's coming in there like a dog after a bone. He's coming to get that finish and keep moving up the rankings. Young guy versus a vet, and same thing. We've been talking about all night. The young guy's just coming in with more fire, and I think he's gonna put Marvin Vittori out.
yeah, man. Sad to say, like you said, he lost his brother this year, and this is his third fight this year too. And Brendan Allen just dominated him. Delize got him back in March. He's on a three-fight losing streak, and Brendan's just a beast, man. Crazy KO power. Like Vittori, if he's gonna win this fight, he needs to do what he did versus like a Holland. Other than that,
Hmm.
he like because other than that fight, he hasn't really been wrestling. Like this isn't just boxing. This is MMA, and you have to mix it up. And I think that's one thing Vittori has not been doing lately at all. Like he barely even throws kicks, and he's only 32 years old, but he's been in the UFC for 10 years now. So never been KO'd, but he's been taking a lot of damage. I mean, the Costa fight was a scrap. Jared Cannonier, he broke a significant strike record on him, at the middleweight division. Brendan Allen just battered him. With all that being said, like he can't stand and bang with Ferreira. So if Vittori, I mean, he has two KOs in his career. He's got to get back to the basics, shoot for the takedowns, work the clinch, and kind of get Bruno where he wants him. And if he does that, I think he'll have a shot at winning this. But other than that, I don't see Ferreira winning this by decision. Either Bruno's going to knock him out or Vittoria's going to win this by decision, most likely.
Yep. No, definitely, I agree. I agree. Man, I think that's gonna be a good fight. But I guess it's if Vittori's chin holds up or if Ferreira finds a shot. And
Yeah, because he's taking a
brings us
lot
to
of
the next
damage.
one. Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, takes a lot. Yeah, I mean, they're both probably going to take a lot of damage if Vittori can come back to putting some combos on people and mixing it up. But we'll see. But
Mm-hmm.
man, talk about elite striking. Edson Barbosa, 24-13, fighting Jalen Turner, 14-9. Edson Barbosa is known for that spinning back kick. He just throws that thing like a wild man, and he's got good striking. But he's fighting a Jalen Turner. 14-9. The record is he's 1-4, 1-5 in his or 1-4 in his last five fights. He's he's having a tough little run right here. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I mean, Turner, 6'3", is like one of the tallest people in the lightweight division. Barboza, seems like he's on the way out for me, kind of like Cejudo. Like he's back at 155 again. His last fight versus Jakar Close was, excuse me, last time he fought 155. His last fight. Before that, he hadn't fought in 6 years at 155, and I still think it's a good matchup for him, even though Jalen Turner was retired. If you want to call it that. But I mean, he fought back in March. Whatever was going on with him, I feel like he's better now. And whether it was mentally or taking those back-to-back losses or whatever, I don't know. I know he knocked out Green. It was really bad KO. Like I think that really messed with him. But then the Moicano fight, he had Moicano basically finished and tried to get the
Yeah,
walk-off KO, UFC 300, big lights. But that's why you don't do that because we've seen it so many times where a fighter thinks they KO'd their opponent, ref doesn't call it, then they recover. Especially a vet like Moicano, you just can't make those mistakes. Then he had the back and forth with Gamrot. I mean, some people think he might have won that fight, had a war with Dan Hooker. I just feel like Jalen Turner has proved to me that he's game, and I think this is a great return fight for him. Barboza isn't looking better the older he gets. He didn't look good at all his last fight, and I think Turner's going to get the KO.
No, I agree. I think, you know, Jalen Turner's gonna find his shot. He's long, 6'3". I mean, the guy's got, I mean, crisp striking. Like we said, he almost put Moicano out, and he just made one dumb decision to, try to walk it off, and he ended up getting back and getting subbed, and so I think Jalen Turner's just gonna find his shot in this one. Edson Barboza's old. He's 1 foot out the door already in my eyes, and I just think Jalen Turner's gonna find a finish for sure in this one.
Right.
Man, yeah, but fireworks in the next one. Ebo Aslan, 14-3 versus Iwo Barnwiski, 6-0. It's first fight in the UFC's debut. How you feel about this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, Ewo versus Evo. Evo his contender fight series. He won in 20 seconds. All of his wins have been in the first round, so he's obviously has the power. He's got a good ground game. He likes the armbar, but with Ebo, all 14 of his wins also by KO. He's beat some of the other guys that were some other UFC guys before they were in the UFC, like Robert Valentin, and he got the
Mm-hmm.
win back against Anton Teklic, who subbed him in Brave Combat Federation, and I've seen him go more than one round, and I've seen him have to bounce back and show heart, and I think I think his last fight was just being too hesitant, feinting a little too much, not really engaging enough. And this fight, I think he gets it done here. He also has a 5-inch reach advantage. I think he can use that, keep the range. And honestly, I think he's gonna get his first decision win. Bring Ewo into deep waters, maybe wrestle a little bit. I think we see a little change in strategy.
No, yeah, I agree. I was actually thinking of taking the over in this fight. A lot of people think it's two big power guys coming in to find a finish. I
Mm,
think Ibo's going to try to, like you said, take him into deep water and make this a dogfight rather than try to put him out so quick. And yeah, I think over the 1.5 is what I was gonna what in my notes is what I put. So I think Ebo's gonna be Ewo, and I think it's just gonna be Ebo all around fight. So we'll see how it really plays out. But I think over 1.5 is a good pick here. I don't think one of them's gonna find a shot early. So
yeah, I like that one too. And then we got Mansour Abdul Malik versus Antonio Tricoli. Mansour 8-0-1, 6'2", 80-inch reach. Tricoli 12-5. He's 6'5". You know, Mansour he had that fight against Cody Brundage, got the headbutt, so he got overturned. I mean,
yep,
what are you thinking on this one?
yeah, man. Tricoli does not. I mean, he hasn't looked very good to me. I don't think.
No,
I think Mensur, finds a finish in this fight. I think he's got to open up more than he did, against Brundage. The headbutt, whatever. But I mean, when you fight a guy like Brundage, you got to get on him and you just got to stay on him. You can't give any space. And I feel like that's what you do against Tricoli. You find your shot if you stay in there. Tricoli, he's got a glass chin, that thing cracks.
right.
And so I think Mansour, just puts it on him right away. I could see him getting a finish early in this fight against Tricoli and one and done, something like that. So I got Mansour by finish under 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, all 8-0, all finishes. Like we said, the last fight was overturned to a draw versus Cody Brundage because of the headbutt. But ultimately, Tricoli just isn't good. I mean, he's getting submitted by a standing guillotine from Sean Gore in round one. Sure,
Yeah.
Magomedov KO'd him before that. I can't be mad about that one, But also, Tricoli hasn't fought in a year. He just doesn't have a chin. I mean, he's like a clearance version of Johnny Walker, in my opinion. And I just like we've seen him. I don't know, man. I I can't I can't bet on Tricoli ever. He's just not good. I think he'll get
Yeah.
KO'd.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree, man. And that brings us to the first fight of the night, Muhammad Naimov versus or 13-3 versus Myron Santos, 16-1,
Mm,
featherweights. Man, Myron Santos is good, dude.
yeah,
I wasn't really onto this guy until he beat Sadiq Youssef. So how you feel about this one?
yeah, exactly, man. I mean, 8 KOs, 8 decision wins. Like you said, his best win right now is Yusuf. and like this is both of these guys' third fight this year, so they're both staying active. Naimov has never been KO'd as well, so that should be fun. I see Naimov has the better competition, back and forth with Lima before getting submitted. KO Jenny Malarkey. The Nathaniel Wood win was a really good win, but just kind of took him down, beat him up. But I don't think he's going to get Santos down. And if he does, Santos is pretty good at getting back to his feet. So training that extreme couture, he's got Eric Nixick in his corner. I think he should keep this standing and probably outstrike Namaval, landing more damage, leading to a decision win.
No, yeah, I agree. And I was actually looking at it. Santos missed weight, huh?
Uh,
I
I'm not
believe the
sure.
results I'm looking at right here, it says he was like a pound and a half over the limit. Yeah, two weight misses possibly on the card, but yeah, no, I
Okay.
think Santos is he's gonna figure it out. I think he's gonna. I don't think there's gonna be a finish in this fight, and if there is, I believe it'd be from Santos. But man, I think it's gonna be a close contested fight. They're both tough, like you said, active. Third fight of the year for both of them. I think it's just gonna be a good fight all around. And I think it's going to come down to who's going to put their game plan into effect and really stick to it. Because once you detour from your game plan and you know your boat isn't selling anymore, how are you going to fix that? And if you don't, you lose. And we haven't really seen either of these guys. I mean, Naimov, when he lost to Lima, it's a good fight back and forth, and Lima finds a finish. And that's because Lima went into his world. So really, it's going to be who sticks to the game plan, who works their stuff, and comes out with a win. And so I believe Santos is going to pull it off. And I mean, he's just tough. He's huge for the weight, which I mean it explains he missed weight by 1.5
Hmm.
already. And but
Yeah.
man, yeah, I think Santos in this one, and it's going to be a good fight to start off the night for sure. So I'm excited for this card, and it's going to be freaking good. UFC 323. It's going to be some fireworks, hopefully.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, last one of the year, so it's got to be end of an era.
Yep.
So, what you take the under and what you lock?
Man, I think my under, I'm going to have to take Karini Silva and Brandon Moreno. Those are going to be my two. Those are my two take the unders for sure. And my lock's going to be Marab. I mean, the dude is just there's no stopping the machine right now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the
There's no
champ
stop.
for a reason. He's the number 3 pound for pound. So man, I got to keep Marab as my lock for sure.
Yeah, my locks. I'm going Jalen Turner, Marab, and then my take the under. I got to go with Kareem Silva. I mean, plus 165. You're giving me free money right there. So
No,
yeah,
yeah,
man.
definitely.
That's the Take the Under podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Take the Under. And I mean, we won't see you till next year. So
Yep.
we got a
That's
lot
from
planned.
2025.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, 2025.